now request C. Anil Sharma ji to introduce the speaker.
Thank you, Simaji. I hope I am audible.
Yeah, Sharma ji,
Yes.
you're audible.
Yes,
Yeah,
audible.
CA Avinash Shirvani is no new name to our study circle. He is a regular speaker on various forums, study circles, WARC, corporates, and all. And he has delivered lectures at various forums, as I said. And his main topics are income tax and company law. He's a visiting faculty on various corporate houses, Bombay Chambers, and IAM, and contributed articles to various study circles, websites, and ICAI journal. He is a core team member of ICAI in handling e-filing help desk and issues on uploading filing of various tax audit reports and EIT returns mandate under the provisions of the Income Tax Act. Special invitee member of the Direct Tax Committee of ICAI for the year 2018. Presently, member of Study Circle Group of Direct Tax Committee of ICAI and ASAB of ICAI. Member of the Law and Representative Committee of the Chamber of Tax Consultants. Co-authored books on fringe benefits published by Malad Chamber of Commerce of Tax Consultants in the year 2009. Well, there is a long list of contribution is done to the various publications of the institute and in this field. And he has been a regular speaker on our study circle also and has been a very good partner of our study circle. So with these few words, I welcome C. Avinash Ravani ji to present his lecture on the TDS. Welcome, Avinash ji.
Thank you, Anil ji, for the this introduction. And first of all, congratulations to CA Seema Mehta for taking up the charge. I'm audible, no?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
You're audible, sir. Audible.
So today's session basically on TDS, because this was planned, I think, on 17th of May, which we wanted to keep, but due to some constraints about this COVIDs and all, so that has been shifted now. Anyway, this is the right time. So first of all, thank you very much, everybody, and I'll try my level best to address to all these queries which have been received. And basically, today's session is about only discussion about the recent changes which has happened and what are the problems which have been faced on the traces and how to overcome these issues. So as we know that this earlier this is traces is now basically TDS 2.0 version. Earlier we had TIN. We were filing the returns means on that this was managed by TIN, and now it is on traces, and this is again subject to change in the next 1 or 2 years because this 2.0 is also coming to an end. We will be having a new version of TDS. So basically, from 2006 to 2014, we had traces, this TIN, then 14 to 21, most probably we'll have traces, and now let us see what other it comes. So at present now, this is the portal. Everybody is aware and everybody is working on it. So these are the this is the first look of the traces, and you have see the left hand side, this DIN verification one new link has been introduced. So any notices which you get from the income tax department, this is from the traces, you can verify it whether the notice is correct or not. So any correspondence which you need to do with the income tax department or basically with the traces has to be on the basis of this DIN identity, the DIN identification number, the demand identification number, which has been introduced from 1st of October 2018. So if the notices are available on this portal and if it contains the details, then only you have to reply. Any notices which does not have DIN should not be replied, and it needs to be checked properly. So second, basically, if we see that the most problem is about on the traces is about the defaults. The defaults are basically classified into 4 parts. That is due to incorrect deduction reporting, because whatever defaults happen is based on our reportings, what we report, because this TDS Traces works on the 3D formula. The first D is that is the deduction. Deduction has to be done at the correct rate, correct applicable rate. Then payments, that is deduct, declare and report. So this basically, if there is an incorrect deduction, because in deductions, if it is not correct as per the applicable for each assessment year, there are separate rates of tax which has been declared. So whenever you are filing any returns for any assessment year, you have to see that the taxes has been deducted at the correct applicable rate, which is applicable at that time. And you have to basically, when you deduct, that deduction has to be paid within the specified time limit, which is declared, which is also stated on the income tax website. Everybody is aware of it. And then whatever you have deducted, whatever you have paid needs to be reported by filing the return of income. So when you file, deduct, pay and file, the entire process gets completed. But one process is still further is remaining, that is after completing all these 4 processes about downloading the TDS certificates. You need to download the TDS certificates and issue to the deductee, because that is also mandatory. One question which has been raised, whether this, instead of this downloading the TDS certificates, we can send this form, it is already available in the form 26, then why we need to issue the TDS certificates? So this matter is under consideration as of now. That is that once this traces and all filings becomes fully operational, basically this will be continued in the future. But as of now, you need to download the certificate. The time limit is within 1 month from the date of filing of return. That is, now it has been reduced to 15 days. That is, within 15 days you have to download the TDS certificates and issue to the deductee. If you don't deduct the TDS, issue the TDS certificate, there is a separate penalty or late fees for penalties for non-downloading. So these are the 4 reasons basically why defaults happen. So if you follow all these 4 processes correctly, there won't be any defaults which will be generated by the system. Then coming further, that is what type of deduction. So what type of defaults happens? That is, if you deduct late, because when you have booked the TDS, because it is TDS has to be deducted on or before the due date. That is, the date has been specified. That is specified. That is date of payment or date of credit, whichever is earlier, and you have to deduct at the applicable rate. So if you deduct at the shorter rate which is applicable, the default is going to happen. Or if you fail to deduct, then also there is a default. Similar way, if you have deducted, if you don't make the payment within the specified time limit given for payment, it results into default. Even short payment, if you have deducted 100 rupees and if you have paid lesser amount, it comes to default. If you don't pay it, then also it becomes a default. Even after completing both this procedure correctly, if you don't file the return within the specified time, then again there is a default. That is, if you file late, then it is a default. If you don't file, it is a default. And after in filing also, if you don't the reporting of PAN, because basically what it is, that correct PAN has to be stated in the return of income, and if you don't specify the correct PAN in the return of income, then it becomes a default. Then it is related to the PAN error. And even if you enter the PAN, if the PAN entered is incorrect, then also it results into defaults. So these are the basically default dates. Now, if there is a late deduction, then what happens? You have to pay the interest. If there is a short deduction, late deduction, if there is a late deduction, pay interest, and you have to file the correction statements. That is, you have to download the correct consolidated file, add or rectify it, and file the correction statement and the demand disclosed. And this full process is online. You did not, there is no interaction, any physical interaction at any end. So even if you have got the short notice payment or some type of notices have been received, you need to download that notice. You have to verify the contents of the notice, and whatever the defaults are there, you need to rectify the defaults, and you have to submit the correction statements. You cannot just do any correspondence, but you have to do it online. It was TDS, CPC TDS is the first, website which went totally on a digital platform. in 2000 from 2014 onwards. So there is no interference, any physical interference. Even if any action has to be taken by assessing officer or any person, they also have to do it online. There is no physical interaction at any mode. So this is, if the late deduction is identified, you have to pay the interest at the specified rate, download the consolidated file, and file the correction statement. Similarly, if there is a short deduction, then the short deduction may be on account of two parts. That is, either actually short tax was deducted actually short, or there was a difference in the mentioning of the section, or mention or the selection of status of assets. So there may be a default on account of double entries which may have been made in the return of income, return of TDS return. So you have to identify it. So whether any mistakes have happened, if it is a double entries, then you have to delete one entry. Deletion option is not there. You have to make that entry which has been entered at twice as 0, and then you have to file the correction statement. And again, if it is actually short deduction, then you have to pay tax along with the interest and file the correction statement. So if there is a no deduction, then again if there is no deduction and you have reported that entry in TDS return, then it happens to actually it becomes a default. So if there is a non-deduction and the deductee has not paid the tax, then as per the law, the department can recover the tax along with the interest, and that to the extent of TDS amount, and that has been really recovered from the deductor. And if the deductee has paid the tax, then the differential interest from the date of payment, or that from the date of deduction till the date of payment, will be recovered by the traces, provided the deductee issues the form. The deductor has to obtain form number 26A from the deductee, and they have to close that default. And again, this also procedure of obtaining 26A is also made online. So there is no such physical information. So late payment, pay interest, this is closed. So late payment, pay the interest. Challan related defaults. Now challan related defaults happens for two reasons. That is, one is the challan is unmatched or mismatched. Unmatched or mismatched means basically what this tax is not paid, then you have to pay the tax along with interest, and other procedure remains the same. Now why this unmatched and mismatched happens? Unmatched and mismatch happens because of two reasons. That is, either you have entered the deduction details as twice and the payment is entered as once. It may happen that in the return some entries may have gone double entries. So it will result into such type of mismatch challenge. Or basically this TDS website works on the single option that whatever you have deducted, same amount has to be paid. There is 100 rupees deducted, 100 rupees payment matched, both if it is matched, then the entry is closed. But if you have entered as 200 rupees deduction and the payment is 100 rupees only, then it comes as a short payment. So you have to ensure that when you are filing the returns, this type of mismatch doesn't happen. Now it may happen that a same challan may be used twice. That is the reason that type of default is called as overbooked challan. So you have double entries in the double entries of deductee in the annexure, then you need to delete the double entries which are happened to correct this type of mistakes. Or if there is a non-book payment of tax, that is, you have entered the payment and entered the TDS deduction entries are entered in the system, and there is no corresponding payment which is there. So if such type of defaults happen, or there may be some reasons because of which the default may happen, that is, you might have paid the taxes, but the details which you have entered in the return may not exactly match with what you have stated in the return. So there may be a mistake on account of date, or maybe there may be an interest on account of the default on account of BSR code, or on account of the challan number which is. So if there are any unconsumed challan which are available, so what happens here, whenever you are filing the returns or whenever you uploaded the returns, when you download the defaults, you have to also verify whether there are any unconsumed challans. Unconsumed challans means against which the payments the deductive details have not been matched. So such type of challans can be, unclaimed challans can be used for matching the the default, this paying the late fee, you have to file the correction statement. See, basically, whatever the default is identified, and for removing which is stated in the return of income is return TDS return is incorrect, then you are liable to pay the tax at the higher rate, that is at the rate of 20% under 206AA, and you need to file the returns. Now, one more changes which you see, the Finance Act now allows you that you can file your returns with the Aadhaar numbers. So if the person who are not having the PAN numbers can file the return of income with Aadhaar, which has started from assessment year 2020-21 onwards. So here now this system also needs to amend it to include the Aadhaar number. So automatically your Aadhaar number will be converted into PAN number. So this is the area where the further action has to be taken by the traces. So this is the result of PAN. So if the PAN is not available, you are required to pay the tax 20 at the rate of 20%. And once you have paid the tax at the 20 rate of 20%, you can revise the TDS return. That is, you can correct the TDS returns by correcting the correcting the PAN, incorrect PAN with the correct PAN. The assessee whose PAN number is mentioned in the return of income will be able to claim the extra credit of the excess credit which has been deposited. So this is also, they can claim the credit by at the time of filing of the return of income. And even if you want to change the PAN, that is, if you have mentioned the PAN and you want to correct the PAN and change the PAN, then one time the correction is allowed. One time correction is allowed, provided the person whose PAN number is mentioned in the return has not claimed that amount. If the person has claimed that amount, then you will not be able to change that PAN. So here, these are the functionalities which is available to the deductor, and now each of the person, either it be a deductor, it be a taxpayer, or it be a assessing officer, they all have to work on the common website. So it is a common platform for all the three people. Everybody will be working on the same portal itself. There is no separate portal. Earlier, you are submitting the return at the NSDL. NSDL was uploading it, and it was then transferred to assessing officer. This type of things were happening, but now it has been done away with. So it is basically done with this. Everybody will work on the same portal. Even if you go visit the assessing officer at Cherry Road, for our Bombay office, they are also using the same platform. They are also using the same website for generating all type of doing all type of assessments also. So registration and login. So for this filing your returns, etc., you have to doing any action, you need the registrations. Then for download option, everything, I think this everybody is aware of this. I'm not going to take much discuss much in details. Basically, the 3 or 4 things which are there, that is, one is related to refund functionality, Altas Challan corrections, and about the changes in the returns which have to specify. So these 3 are the basic functions which we are going to cover today. And if you have any queries relating to this, then you can just raise it, and if the time permits, we can definitely take it. So even if now TDS certificates also which are generated has to be generated online. The physical TDS certificate has been done away with, so that you can download it, whether it is 15 is form number 16, 16A, etc. You can download. Even this 27D is applicable for foreign type of remittance. They also have to download it. And if the lower rate of certificates, you have applied for lower rate of certificate. Now, lower rate of certificate application also has been made online. That is form number 13 is specified. You have to file request in form number 13. That also is to traces. And all the further details which has been sought for by the department or by the assessing officer has to be uploaded. So it also requires 1.5 hour discussion for this form number 13, that is application for lower rate of certificates. So one lower rate of certificates has to be downloaded from here. So online corrections, that is, you can correct this overbook challan. You can add any challan to the statement. Any deletion, extra entry can be done. So corrections can be done through online or offline. So if it is offline, then you have to request for the consolidated file, and the consolidated file will be available. You have to download the consolidated file and make the necessary corrections, and then you will have to submit it in a physical mode to the TIN facilitation center. But department generally recommends that you do the correction online, because what happens, the basic advantage of doing corrections online is everything is available online, online. So it is a real-time processing. The processing normally takes around 24 to 30 hours to process it. And if you submit it offline, normally takes around 72 to 90 hours of processing, because the return is collected, it is uploaded on the system, and it is verified on the system. It takes that much time. So online correction is definitely recommended, especially for correction, because you need to know whether what type of corrections you are doing it, whether it's correct or not. Now, suppose a simple example is that, suppose if you want to change the PAN number, and once you enter the PAN number, automatically on the real time, you will be able to verify whether the name of the person will be appearing over there. So it will help you to confirm the details and the data that whatever information you want to correct is correct or not. This is basically the biggest advantage of online. Second thing, what you can do is that you can assign this work to their subordinate. That is, you can have a sub user wherein your assistant corrects the details. He is not, when you give the sub user ID to your assistant, at that time he will be able to correct the details and keep it ready for you. The admin user will can verify the details and submit it online. So this is the biggest advantage. So that can be used. Any challan which has additional, that is the amount which is remaining, which is outstanding, the deductive details can also be shifted from one challan to another challan. So that moment of deductive row is available. The editing of deductive row in case of unmatched challan is possible. So this all can be done online. And for each of this activity, whatever you want to do, there are separate tutorials which are available on the TDS CPC website. You can download it, and it is a step-by-step instructions. Now, form number 24, that is salary returns for salaried individuals. Form number 16, annexure A has to be generated from the system. And now you see that these details are captured directly in form number 16. So you have to enter all these details. So this was made mandatory last year. So you have to give the full details of the salary deductions over here. That is the name of the employee, PAN number, etc., salary, how you're working, and whatever the claims which you are making, etc. So all these details, this annexure has to be filled up correctly. Based on all this information which you are filling it, the information which is marked as star has to be mandatorily given, because based on this, all the computation will be done by the system. So whether your tax deduction has been done correctly or not will be verified by the system immediately. And if there is any short deduction or any incorrect deductions, then employee has given you the rent receipt details and all for claiming the house rent allowances, then the PAN of the lender is also required to be mentioned here if the payment exceeds. So these all details which are there mandatorily required to be entered. So while preparing this form number 24Q for the last quarter, you have to be very specific, and here you have to just analyze it that whatever the salary which is reported in form number 24 to aggregately matches with all the figures which you have given in all the quarters. So this will be very much helpful. Now I think most of the people are using the softwares, so they will be getting all this information readily available. But before filing this returns, ensure that all the details are entered correctly, because what may happen that in all these 4 quarters, if the reporting of salary is higher or lower, if it is higher, any of the figure which is higher, it will for the deduction or for the processing, it will aggregate the figures of all the 4 quarters, and it will compare with the figures with what is stated in the annexure 2. Any of the figure which is higher, that figure will be computed, will be taken for processing, and accordingly the demands or the short deductions will be calculated. So be very specific and be very particular in reporting such type of transactions. I think this all everybody's aware. It is just full type of information. Based on all this information which are given, the form number 16 will be generated. That is the final form number 16 will be generated by the system itself. So these all figures will be reported in the form 16 which is generated online. Second thing, for this doing any transactions online, you need to register your digital signature. So digital signature registration is mandatory. So the digital signature which you are using for filing the income tax return or ROC return, same signature is valid. You don't need to have any separate signature. But here you have to ensure that the person whose digital signature is used, that person's PAN number is updated on the TRACES website. That is, you need to modify go to the profile, and accordingly you have to update your email ID and mobile number so that communication comes to that particular particular numbers which I've given. So if anybody has issued you the 197 or 195(3) certificates, here you can verify whether that certificate is incorrect or not. And one question which is raised, whether if there is no deduction, whether we have to report any such transactions in the TDS returns or not. According to me, yes. So even if there is no deduction, if any payments which is related to professional fees, etc., are related to contracts, and it is basically related to interest, etc., such type of payments, if there is a no deduction on due to the lower amount, that is, it has not crossed the limit for the deduction of tax, such type of amounts are also to be required to be entered in the return, and there is a specific flag which has to be raised, that is, the TDS has not been deducted. The TDS has been not deducted on account of amount which is below the tax deductible limit. So any 197 certificate or 195(3) certificate which has been given by the deducted you for short deduction, you need to verify whether that is or not. And any certificate which is issued, it has the alphanumeric number, and you have to ensure that this certificate is generated from the TRACES. So if the certificate is not generated from the TRACES website, kindly do not accept this certificate, because what will happen that this certificate, if it is not registered on the TRACES website, then there will be a short deduction or the default notices will come. And these certificates are valid for specified period and specified amount. So a specified amount. So if that limit of this limit which is specified in that certificate, if that limit gets over and you are using this certificate, there will be a short deduction notice defaults which will be generated. And if any 197 certificate has been issued, that is 15G, 15H has been given by the deductee, then this 15G, 15H certificate also has to be uploaded online. There is a separate utility which is available for 15G, 15H, that also has to be uploaded, and there will be one number, unique number which is generated. So when that unique number which is generated, which has been used for 15G, 15H, that unique number which generated has to be quoted in the returns. If that number is not quoted in the return, the short deduction defaults are generated. Basically request, and if there are any defaults which are based, any issues relating to TRACES, then you can raise a request for resolution of any such type of queries. You can go to that specified option which is available. Filing of nil deductions, or that is there is no deduction in any particular quarter, then whether you are required to file this nil returns, so that is not there. So you can file a declaration, but it is not mandatory. Even if you file, if you don't file, that doesn't matter a lot. But you can file a declaration for non-filing of such statement, because when there are deductions and suddenly the deduction stops, so then there are chances that you may get the notice for non-deduction or not filing of statement. So if you have given a declaration, and in the declaration you have to state why the return has not been filed, so such type of notices will not be issued. So if your digital signature is registered, one biggest advantage here is the KYC validation is done is easier. You have to go through the process which is simpler process than other modes of KYC validation. So you can PAN verification can be done. That is, any PAN you are entering in the return, whether it is correct or not, the option is available here. On the TRACES website, you can just enter the PAN and you can verify whether that PAN is valid or not. That option is there. You can view the challan status. Then the WebSocket emSigner is there. So if you are using the digital signature for any type of filing, you have to use the WebSocket. This is that. I think everybody is aware about this WebSocket emSigner, which is there for, they might be using for GST returns. On the same basis, here also you can use the same type of challenge. And declaration to deposit lower rate of TDS. Now what happens that there is a mismatch in TDS deposit. Some in one quarter, suppose you have deducted 1 crore TDS and you have filed a return, suddenly that amount drops to 40-50 lakhs or some exorbitant, there is a shortfall in that amount. Such type of shortfall in the amounts may result in TDS survey. So if such type of this variance is there, so here you can inform it in advance that why there is a option here to report it. The declaration, you can give a declaration that forward, you can give the reason why there was a short deduction of or short deposit of TDS reason. So that option, so once this is, it is one type of advance intimation to the department that due to this reason there is a short deduction of TDS. It will be helpful for them also that they, even if your case is selected for scrutiny and all, so they may not come for your search or survey in case of there is such a bigger mismatch. Offline correction, that is everybody is aware, that is now you have to use the latest utility which has been provided. So the every time this RPU, that is a written preparation utility which has been updated by the department. So whenever you want to do any correction statements on offline, then you have to download the latest RPU, and based on this latest RPU, you download the freshly generated consolidated file, and then you have to use that file and you have to upload the return. Any correction which has been done, unless any second correction which you want to do it, should not be done unless and until the first correction has been fully accepted by the system. Such type of downloading the consolidated file, etc., and all this pain, if you don't want to take, then you can download it through, or you can do the correction step through online. So once you go through online, you all this information, the latest consolidated file is available, and latest all the details, because what the processing is done through latest files which are available on the system. So it is the easiest mode and the best mode for correction. And I always recommend that you go for online correction. It basically it saves your time and energy, and you get the information whatever corrections you're doing it is correct or not. Then there is a refund functionality which is available. So if you have deposited TDS which is in excess, and now there will be no amount which has to be, that this amount cannot be used, then you can raise a request for refund. So that is also now valid. That is now made applicable. This request refund has to be made online. You have to click on this and you have to enter the information. You will get the refund for the TDS, excess TDS deposited, provided you don't have any demand which is outstanding on the traces. So if any demand is outstanding on the traces, as well as there should not be any demand which should be outstanding on the income tax website also. So if any demand which is outstanding on the income tax department's website or on the traces website, first that demand needs to be closed. So if that demand is closed, then only you will be able to file the application for refund. It takes almost around 5 to 6 years to get the refund. So basically be very specific when you're making a application for refund request and request. Because in my 30 years career, I had filed an application for refund in 2010, and that SSC got refund in 2020. In the month of January 2020, got the refund. So it almost took around 10 years. And one biggest disadvantage here is that you don't get the interest on the amount which is there. So you get the basic amount which is there. So this you have to be very careful. And if this amount can be utilized, it is better that not to go for the refund functionality, and you can utilize that amount with, on the other deductions. Then if any mistakes which has happened in the correction, that is challan, that is basically mistakes in your sections or in your deductions or date of deductions, this section change or any code change, that is for corporate assesses, non-corporate, this challan code 20 or 21, whichever is there. So that type of corrections, that is assessment year corrections, can also be requested online. You don't have to visit to the assessing officer, you can do it online. But if there is a mistake, one query has come to me that the person has deposited the amount in a different TAN, that is the TAN number, a different TAN number. So such type of corrections cannot be done online. So for that type of correction, you have to go to the particular assessing officer where that amount has been, visit the assessing officer where the TAN belongs to. So you have to visit to that assessing officer, you have to give the application, and you have to give the consent, you have to take the consent from the TAN holder in whose number the tax has been deposited. So if that person has claimed that TDS deposited, then you cannot get this TAN number corrected. This functionality is applicable, this available only with the power is only with the assessing officer. Assessing officer can do. You have to give the indemnity bond and etc. So if such type of mistake has happened, definitely you contact the assessing officer and get this correction done. As per the procedure, they will give you the full list of details which are required. You have to visit to the assessing officer. Then any defaults, these are there. So this type of defaults are available on the website. So you can see this default amount, the financial year. So basically, when you click it, you can request for the type of demand. The communications have been done from the traces from time to time. So once you have uploaded the returns, once the return has been filed or return has been processed, your system, that your work does not get over. You have to just go and verify whether your returns have been accepted by the system or there are any errors. So if you see these type of communications are available on the traces portal, you can just go through all these type of communications. It will show that these are the type of errors which are ever, or these are the notices which are there from the income tax. These traces you have to follow up with that. The quarter wise, the return wise, the details are appearing. So you have to download the reasons for this. Reasons are available. So download the from the communications. So you have to just go and visit there. Then any corrections which has to be done, that is, there is a short deduction which is there, and you want to that person has paid the tax, and so you want to get this defaults removed. So in that case, here you have to request for 26A. There is a 26A or 26BA statement which is available. So this functionally it is there, and basically this is just a certificate from the chartered accountant of that deductee, that this person has already filed the tax and whatever the tax was due was been paid. And this, once you raise this request, it goes to the person's the SSC's chartered accountant's details. You have to submit it, and based on the information which is filled up, the necessary information will. This is the process which is there. You can, if any such type of details, this type of demands which has been paid, you can just go through this. You have to give the membership number, and the certification will be there from the chartered accountant, and this type of demands can be removed. The total outstanding demands are now available on the traces. So if you just log in with your user ID and password, on the left hand corner, it will give you the report card that this demands are pending. Any payment which are there, you have to, all these payments have to be made online. The challan number is 281. Any of the sections you select, the section does not have much importance as of now as on the TDS return. So if any defaults are there, you can make the payment either for 194C, 194J, any type of defaults. The short deduction payments you have to make, you can select any one of the section. But one thing you have to remember, that for each quarter is a separate each quarter is a separate financial year for the traces. So you cannot just combine all the 4 quarters payments and make it into one challan. It is always advisable that for each quarter you make the separate payment for each challan, and then you have to add that challan, and you have to file the upload the return, and your return will be your default will be removed. Coming to the taxpayer services, again taxpayer requires registration. Registration is through your PAN number. That is, your PAN number is your user ID, and the password you have to give it. If you have forgot the password, you can complete the KYC procedure and reset the password. You can call for the 26AS into tax file conversion is done. Then you can download 16B, that is form which is related to deduction of tax on property purchase. Then if you are an NRI taxpayer, or you want to download 26AS, these type of services that you want to request for lower rate of certification, you can verify your aggregate TDS compliances, even 26 QB statement which you have submitted. Then you can do the corrections. There is a procedure which has been specified for correction of statement. One-time corrections, second-time correction, two-time corrections are allowed, and the corrections can be done through net banking also. If any type of mistakes we are finding out, or any services which are not available, then you can request for resolution also through this taxpayer services for this. So this is for the related to taxpayer services, but these all things can be done. The digital signature registration is required. Any corrections has to be done. Similarly, for this rent payment, that is rent, if it is exceeding 50,000 paid per month, then you have to deduct that 1% TDS. Then also this type of certificates can be downloaded from here, requesting this for lower rate or nil rate of certificate for resident, not ordinary residents, etc., etc. Then these type of services are available online. Even justification report, if any is default which is there, then this reports are available. And 26 QB, if you have paid taxes which are excess, then you can request for the refund also. You can verify this statement, that is now 194M have been introduced, that is TDS deductions for from this cash withdrawal from the bank. So this type of, for then also for this type of lower rate of deductions or non-deductions, you can apply for 197 certificate, that also is enabled here. So basically, this is the summary of the corrections which you want to do in 26 QB. Now, if you want to update the seller's PAN, then seller's PAN has to be changed. Then you need to get the previous approval from the seller, that is previous seller's approval. So if you want to change the PAN of the seller, it cannot be done unless the seller's approval is received. And the new sellers, the new seller's number also, the PAN number you want to mention, then that also requires the buyer's approval. So if buyer's PAN is to be updated, seller's PAN is to be updated, all this can be done. So this is chart which is available, how you can do. You can 26 QB corrections can be done from assessment year 14-15 onwards. It is only available to the registered buyers. To submit a correction statement, you can amend the amount credited. If the amount paid is to be changed, then again approval is required. Financial year can be changed, date of the payment or credit can be changed, property consideration can be changed, etc., etc. This can be done. Then if buyer wants to file the 26 QB corrections and the seller is known, then you can do it through e-verified. This is also permitted. Then for first time corrections or second time corrections, you need to follow this procedure. If the buyer or seller is non-traceable and DSC is not registered, then you need to approach to the assessing officer. Assessing officer has the power to update the PAN details. And if the buyer and seller is known and the DSC is not registered, and if you don't have the DSC, then you can use the internet banking for verification. Even now, Aadhaar card verification also option has been started from last month. That's from the COVID, once the COVID has started. So this is basically a summary of the transaction for corrections of 26 QB. This can be done. So you can view 26As. You can view these 5 verified services are there. If BSC is not registered, furnish the hard copy of the acknowledgement to bank for correction to the assessing officer. You can approach to the assessing officer also for these 26 QB corrections. But if the deduction is of this option is available only to the resident individual and not to the NRI taxpayers. Then any demand verification, that is DIN verification, any demand which has come to you, you can just verify it from this DIN verification option which has started. Any grievance if you want to raise, that is grievance related to your statement, your downloading statement, if any is rejected, you can get these reasons. If your KYC is not updated, these are all the reasons from where you can communicate with the department with the traces, and your communication of grievance generally take 24 to 36 hours to resolve the such type of complaints. Then necessary communication is being done from time to time. So whenever you are doing any services, just visit the Traces website. What are the latest options or the modes, or if there are any changes which are there that are being updated on the website. The communications are always there. Whatever the updates are being done is available on the website. And if you want to do any type of activity in this Traces and you are not aware how this has to be done, then you can download the tutorials. The tutorials are available from the help menu. So these are basically the communications which have been done. And if there is any type of such of resolutions issue you have made and you are not getting any reply from anybody, then you can lodge e-Nivaran. E-Nivaran can be lodged through your Income Tax India the e-filing portal. It cannot be lodged through Traces portal. So here you can submit the grievance through e-Nivaran, and e-Nivaran, there you have to select the TDS CPC, request for resolution from TDS CPC, and the data your grievance will be raised and automatically the response will be given to the then if any type of complaints which are related to processing of the returns are there, then these are the call centers numbers. That is from Monday to Saturday between 10 hours to 18 hours. You can call this center numbers and you can get the information from there. And jurisdiction details, you can just download it from the Income Tax India website, where your TAN number belongs to which assessing officer. The details will be available on this link. The link has been given. You can just go through and click on this link. You will get the jurisdiction, and on this jurisdiction, the details of the assessing officer will be available. You can visit to the respective assessing officer. The directory of the assessing officer is also available on the Income Tax website. You can download it, and the contact details are also available on the websites of the income tax department. Then coming to the last leg, that is about the form 61. That is this related to form 61 is required to be filed. Basically, when you enter for a specified number of transactions and if you are a reporting person, so then you are required to file form number 61A. So if the person is not having PAN number, then he say he has submitted form number 60, then you have to specify, inform that for that also purpose you are required to file the return. Now whether the nil return has to be filed, basically if there are this type of reporting persons, or there are 12 type of reporting persons, if they have entered into the transactions, and you have to file this form through ITDRN. Earlier it was to income tax website. Now it has been shifted to a separate website, ITDRN. So if your ITDRN is there and you have not entered into the particular transaction, then you are required to file the nil statement. Otherwise, the correspondence keeps on coming. You just have to submit a preliminary response that this transaction you are not entered into any such type of transaction, so that the report does not, that the query does not come. But if you have not, you do not have any ITDRN created and you have not entered into any specified transactions, then you don't have to file or you don't have to report. This is my content, this is my view. So basically, if you are a reporting person, now what is the reporting person and all this, all full presentation is available on the ITDRN website. You can just download the presentation and you can file the return. So if you are a reporting person, you are not entered into the file, you don't have to report these transactions. Basically, this is related to form number 16. What happens if you have entered into such transaction, you are not reporting, then there is a penalty for non-compliance. That is, notice will be there, and there is a rupees 500 per day is the penalty for non-compliances of such type of non-filing of such type of returns. And there is a penalty of rupees 100 per day for late filing of return. So basically, you have to be very specific. The due dates are 30th of June as of now, as amended by the government. So before 30th of June, you need to file. Any information which you have provided is inaccurate, then there is a penalty of rupees 50,000 for giving the inaccurate information. Definitely, you can file an appeal against such notices. There is, the procedure remains the same. The filing of appeal is also online, and that has to be done through Income Tax Department's website. That is Income Tax India efiling.gov.in. The form number 35 is the specified form for filing any type of appeal. Then there was a recent press release which has been raised that there has been concessions which has been given due to this COVID. So SSCs who are already having the lower rate of deduction of tax certificate, which they have applied and they are holding that certificate as on 31st of March, that details has been, the validity period has been extended to 30th June to 2020. The condition here is that you have to apply before 30th of June online for apply before 30th of June online for the further assessment year. That is for the financial year 2021, you have to apply before 30th of June. So accordingly, whatever the limit which was there, that limit continues to be the same for that, and accordingly that limit will be divided into 4 quarters. The first quarter, that whatever the certificate limit is there, accordingly the limit will be is considered, 1/4 of the limit will be considered for the first quarter, and you have to apply it. So whatever the limit which has been used in the first quarter, automatically that will be updated in the system of the traces after once you apply it. So the new certificate which will be issued by the assessing officer or by the CPC will be through considering this limit also. Any payments which are made to non-residents, that is including the foreign companies, those who are having P in India, or those who have applied for the lower rate, tax has to be deducted at the subsidized rate of the 10% plus surcharge and sales till 30th June, or the disposals of applications, whichever is earlier. Now suppose if you have applied for the certificate, lower rate of certificate, well in April, and you have got the certificate, then these conditions won't apply. Then your certificate what has been issued to you, then that will apply, because this is up to the issue of the certificate, whichever is there. The 30th June or date of the issue of the certificate, whichever is earlier, that has to be considered. Then form number 15G and 15H, which has to be submitted to the banks for the financial year 2019-20. So those SSCs who have already submitted forms for 15G and 15J, that form also will be treated as valid till 30th June. So old forms is valid till 30th of June for the current financial year, current period up to 30th of June. So if your old form has been submitted to the bank or any other entity, where you have for the no deduction of tax or no deduction of tax, then that has to be will be treated as valid. But you have to issue the first fresh forms from 1st July onwards. So that concession has been given. Then pending applications for lower rate or nil rate of TDS for the financial year 1920, the assessing officers has been directed to dispose of the application through liberal process. Now, what has happened that if you have already applied for the assessing, even if you see the income tax offices are not working till then, so they have started working, partly working with staff. They are also working from home. So basically, they have been given the instructions that any applications received through email with minimum requirements. So if the person has been issued the certificate for the previous assessment year, previous financial year, and based on this, the person is a regular filer or he is submitting the returns regularly and there are no such demands which are outstanding. So based on the minimum documents which has been specified in the press release which is there. So go through that press note. In the press release, the document which is specified. So submit that documents online through the assessing officer. Assessing officer will issue the certificate by following that procedure. The instruction has been given by the CPC. Then fourth quarter TDS returns has to be filed by 30th of June. It is ordinance number 2 of 2020 with dated March 30th, 2020. This was one of the questions which was been raised, that is where it is available, that in the ordinance number 2 of 2020, it is stated in stated that this is the due date. The extended due date is 30th of June. Whether this due date is extended or not, the time will let us see, wait till 30th of June. We have already, the Chamber of Tax Consultants has already requested, even Direct Tax Committee of the Institute is also requesting to extend the due date. But let us wait and see how it is, if they are taking action. TDS deducted under Section 194 IA for the transactions in the month of March has to be deposited on or before the 30th of April. There will be no late fee shall be paid for the delay because it is already gone. So those transactions which and the deductions which has happened in the Section 194 IA has to be paid before 30th of March. For otherwise the late fee has to be paid for that such type of payments. Taxes payable between 20th of March to 30th June. There is a reduced rate of interest of 9% instead of 12 or 18% per annum. There is 0.75% per month instead of 1 or 1.5% per month will be charged for this differential period. That is differential period. Yeah, so if your due date was 30th of April and you have not paid the TDS by 30th of April, then you have to deposit the TDS by paying the TDS by 30th of June. Then you have to pay the interest at the rate of 0.75%. Then quarterly TDS certificates or TDS will be generated within 50 days of the uploading. That is, if your due date as of now is 30th of June, so you have to deduct the TDS. This TDS and TCS certificates, that is form number 1616A, has to be generated by 15th of July 2020. If you don't generate this, then there is a 100 rupees penalty for non-generation of certificates also. And see, basically whatever activities you are doing it online is being recorded through the traces, and your all compliance reports are kept on the traces, and any officers can verify whatever the activity has been done, and based on this activities the necessary actions are being taken by the traces. So any messages if you get or any email if you get, always check the email that whether it is from the correct source or not. They have released that these are the identified sources from which the mails which come, that is incometax.gov.in, Income Tax India e-filing, TDS CPC, cpc@gov.in, Inside, NSDL, UTISL. These are the valid email address. And even any messages or the SMS which you get it, these are the SMS source codes from which the messages are generated. So any messages other than this SMS code should not be treated as correct message, and never disclose your personal or financial details to anybody. And these are the correct, this is the website which are relating to the income tax, the income, that is Income Tax India, gov.in, Income Tax India e-filing, TDS, CPC, inside.gov, NSDL, UTISL. So any messages, or if you think other than any unofficial source, if any messages come, then it is your duty that you report, send that message or report through this to this web manager or this incident on certificate of the. This is the email ID which has been created for reporting such type of nuisances, such type of messages you get it from any unofficial source. Basically, this is related to traces and TDS. I have tried to give the proper justice to the subject in the time which is allotted to me, and I've tried to cover maximum things which are there. So if any questions are there, any issues are there, we can definitely, if the time permits, we can definitely take up.
Thank you, C. Avinash Ravani ji.
Yeah.
Actually, I have shared you some queries sent by the members.
Acha, okay.
This thing,
Where I
and
will be
other
able to-
queries are there in the chat, and I have downloaded it, and I can share my screen. If you stop your screen sharing, then I will share.
My screen I have already shared. I didn't stop.
Okay, just a minute. I share the screen.
Share the screen.
Your
Yeah. Okay. So first query, that is payment of TDS is made wrongly. There is no deduction and want to claim the refund. What is the procedure? The procedure is definitely given on the website. It is there. You can just go to the refund functionality and submit the necessary documents of it. I think I've already covered this. I've said that there should not be any demand which is outstanding on the income tax website. Any of this income tax, then you can claim the refund. Then presently, how to submit FEO files generated. Last date is 30th June. Software is already updated. So the new this I think 6.7 is the new file validation utility which has been released. It already has that. So you download the latest FEO and you can submit it. There will won't be any short data this late payment. This online application of refund to be made. There should not be any demand for in TDS any year. Some documents should be uploaded. Basically, the demands are appearing on the website of the income tax department and on the TDS CPC website. So if there are nil demands are there, you can just download the screenshot and upload it. That is fine and that is enough. FEO file can be submitted through Aadhaar OTP or EVC. No, it is not permitted. As of we had already requested to them, but they have not accepted our request. And now you have to file it through digital signature only through on the income tax department website, or you can use some TIN facilitation centers are providing the services that you send the documents through email. Then you can you can take the services of them, but OTP and EVC you cannot do it. Then if you have a DSC, better to upload with the DSC. Definitely, I also recommend that. Whether FEO files received on mail can browse to open for checking. No, FEO files is a particular software that cannot be checked. You have other HTML files are there, TXT files are there which are linked to that. And whenever you are filing the returns, one sheet HTML record is generated and that record needs to be verified. So there you will get full details that whatever you have paid, whatever you have deducted, whatever amount you have paid, deposited, whether there is any shortfall or not, that will be reflected in the HTML file. If there are any PAN errors, that also will be reflected over there. So that serves basically as an e-assessment, that is 143(1)A information. So you can do it, you can go through it. So that will be helpful. FEO files cannot be. Then there is a question from Mr. Chintan Shah, that is Aadhaar OTP, DSC, and now Aadhaar OTP. Aadhaar OTP, you can, Aadhaar OTP is for correction option. You can use it for 26 QB only. That is for other, it is not permitted. What happens here is that basically when we had asked for it here, it is shown that net banking, through net banking and all corrections are happening. So net banking and DSC both are the best option. Aadhaar OTP, definitely we can recommend it. Can financial year 1890 file through NSDL offline as DSC? Yes, you can file it online. You will have to pay the late fees, definitely. Whether nil return is compulsory to file? No, not required. Whether PRN is generated and status can be verified? Yes, PRN nil return is not required to be filed. There is no such option to file the nil return. You have to file a declaration. So whenever if you have filed the declarations and then certainly if you have subsequently you have identified that there are certain deductions which are there, then definitely you will have to pay the late fee of rupees 200 per day. That definitely has to be there. You have to download the consolidated file, etc. That you have to do it. There are a few WhatsApp messages roaming word that you can send the FL developer. Don't know whether they are. Yeah, basically you can just call, contact that particular TIN facilitation center whether they are accepting or not. But don't blindly send any SSS documents to anybody, because definitely it is a very risky thing. and such type of things should be avoided. And I always recommend that you file it through DSC online. That is the best option which is there. If excess TDS paid, what is the time limit to claim? You can claim it anytime. There's a lifetime it is available. Basically, if any assessment year mistakes which has happened, that is +1, -1 is allowed, you can claim it. TDS can be claimed online till the next financial year, but offline mode you can use it. Some parties are clear 5 to 6 year old demand rectifying sequences subsequently. See, basically what happens that when any challan which is considered as fully booked, or when that amount has been utilized and that amount has been claimed, then that type of challans cannot be rectified. Challan rectification in such cases are not permitted, and system is not going to allow you to claim the TDS of such book challan and the such say claim challan. So basically, any 5, 6 year old demands are that definitely you have to pay it with interest. Basically, whenever you are paying, you compute the interest till the date of payment, so that you don't get the further notices to pay the again because if you the demand which is generated, that is generated when till the time the interest is computed till the time the TDS return has been processed. So you will get the notices for additional demands which are additional short payment notices, short interest payment notices, and then you will have to do the entire procedure again. So I always recommend it that basically you compute the interest till the date of the filing, and then you file the correction statement. Then if a particular employee no TDS is deducted in Q4, and do we need to report his salary in Q4 even if they so what happens that Q4 return is mandatory for all type of races. So if there is no deduction in if there is no deduction in fourth quarter, then you have to fill the annexure 2 which is there, that is mandatory. Even if any deductions which are there in quarter 1, 2 or 3, but quarter 4 return is mandatory which has to be filed. And all type of this reporting year has to be given for all type of assessees whose income is above the taxable limit. Salary is paid is above the taxable limit. Then there is sir, if a particular employee no TDS is better to disclose TDS certificate will come online. I think many of the questions are being answered directly by thanks to Pinky ji for taking that opportunity to answer the questions. Unconsumed challans of earlier years, say 15, 16, whether can be adjusted. Yeah, definitely. So what you can do is you don't pay the tax for 20 and 2021 and file the return. There will be a demand which will be generated, and that demand which is generated can be offsetted against the unconsumed challan. Definitely that can be done. Cancellation of TAN number online is not possible. You have to submit the original TAN letter to the assessing officer, and you have to give that there is no demand declaration, there is no demand which is outstanding. Then only the assessing officer will cancel the TAN number. Otherwise, it cannot be done. Whether no TDS declaration has to be filed for each quarter, it is not mandatory. You can file it. You can do it once in a year also for all the 4 quarters. Basically, it is just optional. There is a notification saying CPC cannot charge late filing 34E, but the day defer. See, basically, CPC cannot charge because what happens that 234E became mandatory from a particular, that is most probably it is for, if I recollect, it is 1st October 2014 onwards. So prior to that, late fee is not applicable. So if any demands which are relating to that period, prior to that period, you can definitely write to the CPC and you can file an appeal against such a case, and your demands will be removed. Then unconsumed can be original correction return note is a quarterly application for to be made 30th June. Can we make now? Yes, yes. The application for 197 certificate can be made on or before 30th of June. Even you can make it anytime during the. So if you are holding the certificate prior to 30th of last year certificate was there and it was issued to you, that certificate is valid till 30th June, and you have to apply it prior to 30th of June. So if you don't apply prior to 30th June, again there will be issue whether the earlier deductions which have been considered from 1st April to 30th June or not, whether it has to be taken. But you can definitely submit it prior to 30th of June, and you will get the validity of that certificate which will be applicable from 1st of April onwards. I think maximum queries I think I have tried to cover. If anything is there, any other queries are there, I can take it up if the time permits.
Thank you. Thank you, Avinash. I think most of the queries are.
So if any further queries are there,
Query has come.
yeah.
194 IA TDS 28.
See, 194, that query is that the 194 IDS, TDS 28.5, 1519 has been paid. Auto-populated rate is 0.75. How to correct it to 1%? Basically, auto-populate rate is one. That is, if it is paid 28.5 2019, you have paid, make the payments. So from any payment which is made from 14th May 2019 onwards comes to the lower rate. That is 0.75% has to be paid. So you can correct it. That is differential amount you can pay to the you can rectify this 26 QB by paying the differential amount to the seller, or if the amount full transaction has got completed, then you can request to the CPC to get this this amount corrected, or you can apply for refund. The option is available. These three options are available to you. Any of the option best suitable to you definitely can be taken up.
And we will take the last query before the chat box. In case of sale of property, that 30, Rajendra Shah.
In case of sale of property by NRI, TDS has to be deducted on the sale amount when we file ITR. It results into refund any remedy. No, because basically what happens, it refers into, since no lower rate of TDS is prescribed. Basically, yes, definitely, because if the TDS deduction at the time of filing of the return of income, whatever the tax liability is computed, the tax, this is the TDS and return filing both are separate. You cannot consolidate it both the things. So TDS says that when if the property is sold, purchased from NRI, TDS has to be deducted at the rate of 20%. So if the at the time of filing of the return, if the tax liability is lower, as per the return of income is lower, then definitely refund is bound to come.
Thank you. I think you have answered most of the.
I tried my level best to give the justice to the subject, but if I have forgotten something or if I have misplaced this something, please forgive me for that. And thank you everyone for your kind cooperation and your patience hearing and giving me this opportunity. This JB Nagar Circle is very near to me, near and dear to me. Basically, all the members of JB Nagar Circle are very well associated. I'm grateful and thankful to each of them. And I cannot name as of now each of them. So thank you very much once again, all of you. And
Thank you,
any
Avinash.
queries are there, my email ID is also given, and you can just forward it to me. And if any type of this action is required from any of this CPC, just you can forward the matter to us so that we can take it to the CPC, because we are in regular touch with the CPC, and any issues which are relating to the CPC, we are regularly discussing with it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the nice presentation. And sorry, I now request C. MP Reddy ji to present formal vote of thanks to C. Avinash Rawani ji.
Shivaji, thank you very much. First of all, let me congratulate you and C.A. Krishna Kumar Kedia on becoming convener and deputy convener of our study circle. And I wish you both all the best. I also congratulate C.A. Chintan Shah for the excellent work done during the last 15 months. He has got additional 3 months on his credit, you know.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
sir.
We had an excellent yoga session today. Now coming back to giving vote of thanks to C.A. Avinash Rawani. And he is the known faculty on the subject. We all know it, and he is not new to us. And he has explained in detail what are the problems faced by us and how to solve the same in filing the TDS returns. And we also know the changes introduced by the government in filing the TDS returns, and how to solve the defaults in the system generated, and the issue of TDS certificate in time, so that one will not pay any penalty. What precautions we should take in taking the correction files, and how to make the application for refund of excess payment made. Overall, it was an excellent session presentation on the